Hello, everyone. I forgot to tell you the other day about these tires. The Victorious Rubino Pro Speed Graphene 2.0 23 millimeters. Now, these tires, I opted for them for this bike because I believe they are 190 or so grams each. They are thin. Uh, 23s are at this point a sort of a vintage dimension for a road bike. But I don't care. And my point is, I wanted the tires to be as light as possible. One of the way is to effectively choose thinner tires. Also, the rims are quite thin, and as you can see, they fit quite tangent to the tires. Actually, the tire could be a 21 that would still fit pretty, as you can see there, pretty tangent to the rim. Well, my point is, these tires are light, and because I want to do all sorts of jumping and stupid shit on this bike, I want the bike to be light, and every gram I can take out of it is a win for me. But with the tires, you can shave off grams, and then if the tires are rubbish, you'll crash, and there's no advantage there. So this is a brief review of how good are or proper are these tires. I had previously on this bike the same dimension of tires, only the Continental's Grand Prix 5000 on the front, and I believe the Continental Super Sport 3, same dimension on the back. Why? Because of whatever. I don't know. The Continentals were 200 grams or 210 grams. The back one was 220. But it was at the end of its life, so kind of the same weight. So total, I lowered the weight by 40 grams or so. Now, it's kind of a lot, 40 grams for a wheel. There's this thing people say about the rotational mass and the inertia to put it to spin or to break it. It's bullshit. The only where rotational mass matters the most, of course, because it's still mass, but where it matters the most is on the inertia when you try to steer the bike and you turn. There's this inertia that when you steer left, the lower part of the tire will go right and up, and vice versa. So when you have a light bike and want to do stupid shit in the city, you really don't want the lower part of the tire to slip out, up and out when you're turning vigorously. When you lower the weight of the tire, you'll lower the vector that pulls the tire, the lower part of the tire, outwards. Now that's good. You want that, but you will also want the tires to have low rolling resistance. Now, as far as I understand, I am no specialist on that, but as far as I understand, rolling resistance is a combination of um, hysteresis of the all of the components of the tire. In this case, is tire and tube, and the friction in between them. These two variables go in hand with speed, temperature, and pressure in ways that you all understand. For instance, the higher the pressure, the tire pressure, the lower the resistance, up to a certain point. At some point, it gets so bumpy it lowers the efficiency, the rolling efficiency. I'm not sure about the rolling resistance because you're wasting a lot of energy in a vertical movement, but the tire doesn't suffer any hysteresis. So it's another another and it's another thing happening, not rolling resistance, because at some point it gets so hard it could be a tire made out of metal, if you want to think about in that way. So it has almost zero rolling resistance, but it doesn't mean that it has zero or the maximum rolling efficiency. So those are two different things. Now, a lot of discussion goes to rolling resistance. What is the tire with the lowest amount of rolling resistance? And there are charts online for it. Some compensate for temperature, others for speed or speed limits or whatever, others for real world conditions. There's a difference in between you using a bike in a rougher surface than in a smooth one. Obviously, that's what rolling resistance is all about, but whatever. And I get that when you have a smooth surface, the only walls that on the tire, the only walls that get pressed up right there, get pressed up, is an oval shaped patch that goes up on the tire, that goes up against the rim. But when you ride on rougher surfaces, all over this same patch that changes in shape and dimension, and also inside the patch, you get all sorts of indentations on the tire. Think about it as stones under the tire. And when you have a linear patch going all around the tire, that's one behavior. But when you have, regardless of having patch or not for now, when you have indentations on the tire, that's a whole other story. So you have to account for everything. And because the behavior of the rubber, or rubber and plastic, because these are tubolitos, the inner tubes, is non-linear, and the best way to understand non-linear behavior is to either do a thesis about it or just to test the crap out of it, and you have your results there. And I get it, it doesn't stroke your ego as much, but at least you're sure about the results. Not so much with a doctoral thesis. So for all my doctorates, all good, nothing but love for you guys. But when you get to the real world, that's when shit hits the fan. And I forgot my point. Yeah, rolling resistance. You have all the charts available online with that sort of shit. And my advice is, look here. If you're competing, you should care about that, but also don't. Why? Because you're in the, it's such a stupid thing. We normal plebs think that something doesn't matter for us because we're not competing. It would only matter if we would be competing in a competition. In that case, we'd imagine we make this mental masturbation of thinking about, all right, I would choose this component instead of that one because this one is uglier but faster. So that would be the component I'll be choosing. That's not what happens in real life. If you're a pleb, you're usually buying the thing that you want the most and can afford or steal. But if you're in a competition, the part is given to you. You have no say in it. You have almost no say in what frame you'll be using, maybe the one that makes you the most comfortable. But regarding geometry, you have no say on the tires you use, unless you're the top Chad on competition. You have no say in it. You just have whatever the team gets. And if it's Victoria sponsoring your crappy team, that's what you get. If it's Pirelli, Continental, that's what you get. You have no say in it. So this mental masturbation of what's the best tire I would use in a competition is just that. It has no meaning whatsoever. Unless there are exceptions, which there are, but who cares about it? The thing is that in real life, if you're just a pleb, just like me, you choose the best tire that your wallet can afford. For you, the best tire for you, and you stick with it. And then you maybe try another one. But that's it. If you're on a team, same thing. It's not a wallet, it's your sponsor's wallet. And that's it. The discussion about rolling resistance is an academic one. Yes, it exists, but it almost has no meaning. These tires are faster at lower speeds than the ones I have on my Cinelli, which are Continental GP 5000 28 millimeters. I feel them faster. They spin faster. Well, the wheels are lighter too, but at speed with no increase or acceleration or deceleration, they are faster, up to 25, 30 kilometers an hour. From then on, and I have no test bench for that, but I feel that the tires on my Cinelli are faster, although they are wider. Why? I could speculate, but I don't care. I had Continentals on this bike. I had exactly the same feeling. They were slower at lower speed, and would, in this case, I would say they weren't faster at the higher speed. They would just kind of stall the progression. The ease of progression would just stall at some point. But they were slower at lower speed. These are really fast at low speed, which is kind of perfect for this bike because the top speed I can get on this bike is 34 kilometers an hour. Because of the ratio, I have to change it, but I'm too miserable to switch the chain, and there are no chains like this. These chains go for $80 a piece at the moment, so I'm in no rush to change it. It's good as is, it's fine, just let it be. But up to 30 kilometers an hour, 28, these are faster than the Continentals. From then on, I would choose the Continentals, the 28s. Now, there are a number of factors for that. I don't really care about that because I just want to have fun on my bikes. And each one of the bikes has its own purpose. This one bike, if I have a BMX, I wouldn't be riding on the road or trying to get to high speeds. Makes no sense. If I'm using this bike, I'm not doing any sort of downhill activity. Makes no sense. So each tool has its purpose. Now, if you guys want to check for the best tires, it depends on your weight. It depends on what types of surfaces you're on or typically on. It depends on the weight or the intent of the bike you're building or using. For this bike, I really want light tires. And if I had faster tires, or if these tires were faster but heavier, I would still choose this one. Because it's a lot of fun to jump and do all sorts of stupid shit on this bike, and being faster doesn't make up for it. I prefer it to be fun, and to be fun, it has to be light. In this case, on my Cinelli, it has to be fast. I don't mind the tires to be heavier. They are, and I can tell you that the Continentals are smoother. They are softer in a way. And they can also, one thing I notice is that the Continentals can maintain their characteristics. Probably because they are wider. I can rotate the bike and I can, how can I say, if I give a larger angle on this bike, or a large angle, if I incline the bike a lot, these tires have different characteristics from that center to one of the sides. The Continentals, not so much. Well, sorry, no, these tires have the same characteristics from top to side, meaning that you need softer rubber on the side, and these ones I feel they don't. The Continentals do have. They are softer on the side. And it's very important for you to incline the bike and still have trust that the bike will have some sort of friction on with the floor, with the ground. Nothing's perfect. These are really good tires. They really are. They have their limitations. They are more plasticky. Maybe that's one of the reasons they are faster at the beginning. Um, Again, I use the same sort of tubes on both bikes. The only thing that differs is the dimension of the tires. But again, I had the Continentals in this bike with these dimensions, and I had the same feeling, the same difference in feeling. But it makes no difference. I'm competing with myself. You guys relax about friction, all right, or rolling resistance, or some stupid shit like that. Have fun on your bikes. You're not doctorates. You're not rocket science scientists. And if you were, you wouldn't be using rubber. You'd be using rockets. So chill, all right, and have fun on your bikes. Try and test different things. When a tire gets used, when you change it, maybe change for a same level tire, but a different model or a different maker, and then compare. But stop looking at charts, stop looking at videos that are sponsored. There are tires lighter than these ones that weigh almost half the weight of these ones. They are not faster. If if there's a wet Winnie coming and saying that, all right, I have some tires that I could save 200 grams on these bikes just by changing the tires. Yeah, but you'd be pinching the tires every kilometer. So chill about it. Things must work firstly, and then you can improve on it. But they should be useful first. And as always, it all depends. If you're using your bike on hotter climates, it's totally different than using your bike on colder environments. It's another world. You may as well compare uh, 23s with 32s. It's as different as that. So if you see a video from a certain channel out of England and they tell you that the Continentals are better, maybe they are for England. If you're riding your bike in Italy, on the southern of Italy, maybe they aren't the best option, right? You have to account with everything, and you have to test it by yourself. All right? So, in sum, these are good tires. Every tire that you spend $50 on them, if they are not good, someone stole a lot of money from you. They should be good. There's no need to spend $100 or bucks on a tire. Any tire above, maybe not right now because everything is way more expensive, but typically any tire above 35, $40 is more than enough for any common mortal, as I am at least. All right? So you're good. Just ride your bike. The secret is on your legs, on your cardio condition. Eat, sleep, ride your bikes. Forget about the tires. If they don't pinch, you're good. Puncture, not pinch, puncture. All right? Subscribe, like, and I see you on the next one. Bye bye.